Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Happy Hour with Cody and Red.
And on today's episode, we're going to talk about the first part in the home buying process, getting your pre-approval letter. So we're here today to talk about the very first part of the home buying process, getting your pre-approval letter. I'd say about 99% of the time I end up being the first person a lot of people talk to. Sometimes it's a really good idea to talk to a lender first, because for a number of reasons. They can give you an idea of how much house you can afford, what your monthly payments are going to look like, among other things. So it's always good to talk to somebody like Cody first, just to have some of those things, have your ducks in a row. And yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into it, right, Cody?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Basically, like he said, the first step really is to reach out to a lender like myself. That way we can, get your information, what your goals are, what you're looking to do, and then start structuring a loan that's going to fit you best. There's so many options out there. We have all kinds of loan programs like VA, USDA, FHA, conventional, and you don't have to put 20% down. That's a myth. On conventional, you can put as little as 3% down. FHA, you can put as little as 3.5% down. And then USDA and VA, they're 100% financing. So there's lots of options, guys. That's why ultimately we want you guys to reach out to us so we can go over those with you, and that way you're prepared for buying a home.
All right, yeah, so Cody, why don't you walk us through the conversation a little bit? Like if I were to call you saying, hey, I'm looking to apply for a loan here, talk to me a little bit about how that conversation goes.
Totally. So, basically you give me a call. This is Cody from Academy. And first off, I just want to hear a little bit about you guys. See who you are, what you guys like to do. You got a family, dogs, whatever it is, and then see kind of what your goals are. Depending on, if this is your first home or your second home or an investment property, there's all kinds of loans out there, like I said, that we can structure for you. And it just kind of depends on what your goals are ultimately. So, the initial conversation, once we go over that, we'll do an application. The application takes about 15 minutes. It's basically just getting, your information, your income for the last 2 years, your employer for the last 2 years, your address for the last 2 years, basically get all that on file, and that's when I really start to structure your loan. And then at that point, I can give you a lot better idea of the ballpark you're sitting in.
All right, Cody, so something I get asked a lot about is credit scores. So is pulling somebody's credit something that's involved in getting a pre-approval letter?
Yeah, it is. So that after the application's done, that would be the next step, is to do a credit pull. And that ultimately will narrow down kind of what loan programs we really recommend.
Obviously not everyone has an 800 or a 750 credit score, so what are some of the credit scores you've seen, and kind of what's the minimum, or what are some of the programs?
Totally. So as far as minimum credit scores, we can go as low as a 580. So a lot of, right? Yeah. So a lot of people are actually shocked by that. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I have a 620 and I can buy a house? Absolutely. Now, in saying that, interest rate wise, the lower your credit score is, the more risk there is. So your interest rate will probably be a little bit higher than, par pricing. If you have an 800 credit score, you're going to get the best rate. If you have a 580 credit score, you're going to be on the other end of the spectrum. But the good news is you can still qualify for a home. So,
I know old school is kind of putting 20% down. That's what, a lot of people think you need. So what is the minimum down payment you need?
Yeah, absolutely, and don't get me wrong, if you can put 20% down, that's awesome. First off, that's going to get you out of mortgage insurance, which a lot of you will find out is kind of a pain in the butt. But as far as minimum down, there's a lot of loan programs where it differs. So for example, we do have two options that are 100% financing, which would be either a USDA loan or a VA loan. So if you're a veteran, you served in the military, you'd be eligible for that. USDA, those are going to be more in rural areas, so it wouldn't necessarily be like downtown Portland or Tualatin or Westland. You're going to be more on the outskirts like McMinnville, Aurora, Newburgh, Sherwood, some areas. So more on the outskirts of town, that'll be USDA. And then as far as FHA goes, you have to put a minimum 3.5% down, and then for conventional, you only have to put 3% down.
All right, well now tell me a little bit about closing costs, because I think that's another thing that a lot of people have no idea about. I don't want to call them hidden fees, kind of like your cell phone coverage or anything like that, but people just don't know about them.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a couple different things, guys, and it's really going to be property specific. A lot of it is based off your property taxes. So depending on which area you live in, usually you're going to have to pay about a year's worth of taxes up front. So that's part of the closing costs. There's lender fees involved. title fees involved, and then usually you're gonna pay also homeowners insurance a year up front. So like I said, it's really property specific. Yeah, and then once we get everything, the application, the credit pull, we verify income, all of the application, that's when I can actually issue you a pre-approval letter. And that's when I would send it to you and your realtor like Ray, and you can start going out and making offers. So on the flip side of that, Ray, if you see a pre-approval letter from Academy Mortgage as a local lender, or you get a Rocket Mortgage or a big bank pre-approval letter, which one are you looking at and which one do you think you'll take?
Yeah, so I mean, on the listing side, we definitely do, like the local people. We like local lenders. For one of the biggest reasons is communication. These guys are, 24/7. You can get a hold of Cody, whether it's his cell phone, email, text message. They're much easier to communicate with. You go to, somebody with Rocket Mortgage or Quicken Loans is another one I hear all the time. And, those are big call offices that they're, you could be talking to somebody in Ohio about getting, your loan, and they're open 9 to 5, and then you're also not taking into account the time change over there. So really, they're closed at 3 o'clock over here on the West Coast. So the communication is huge, and you'll see, that's one of the biggest things through the home buying process is having communication with a lender or your realtor. It goes a long way, and it gives you peace of mind, which you can't put a price on. And then for the buying side, though, that we really like to use local lenders because, again, Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage don't necessarily care that we're doing a 30-day close. They're going to get it done when they get it done. There's a stack of papers on someone's desk that they'll get to it when they get to it, But somebody like Cody, who, like he said, he's going to talk to you about, your family, your dog, stuff like that. You build rapport with them. He cares if you close on time or not. He cares that we get it done in that 30 days. And so that's really big, is just the communication, the rapport you have, and the availability with these guys. So it really is beneficial to go with a local lender for members. Guys, so we hope that was helpful and we gave you some good information there. If you do have any more questions, feel free, shoot me a phone call, email, text me, or Cody. We're more than happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Hey guys, and stay tuned for this Friday. We got another fun video coming out for you guys just to show you another cool spot in downtown Portland. So tune in Friday. We're excited to see you guys, and thanks for tuning in.
All right, see you.